anymore, but they keep coming back.
That would give the presenters room to work.
Yes.
I think the more correct thing of what he was saying was, I've noticed a lot of people that identify with the fandom,
Yes.
but they've got misconceptions and they misconstrue things a lot. I talk to a lot of people that roleplay on Yahoo, and they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to be a furry and stuff like that, but I don't know a fursuit. I don't know the first thing about it. I don't know the correct way to put a spin on that other than to go, it's a life choice.
Science fiction fandom has had the question for 90 years. Is fandom a way of life, or is it just a goddamn hobby? They even had Firewall and Figja, things like that. You know, fandom is a way of life. Fandom is a goddamn hobby. That's what they stood for. That argument's going to go on in all fandoms forever. Somebody who says, well, I don't have a fursuit. I don't know how the heck many times I've said, only about 15% of us have fursuits. The rest of us, I mean, fursuits is part of furry fandom. Furry fandom is not all fursuits. You know, it's sort of like saying, football is not all guys painting themselves blue and stripping down in the stands and going,
I thought it was!
What? If you watch ESPN, it sure as hell looks it. You're going to tell a scary story.
Yes.
Tell us.
So I just was in the dealer room trying to coordinate one of our guests of honor who will be arriving shortly. If anybody wants to help greet him, we will be in the lobby as soon as we find out that he'll be here. And I got a very disturbing message that came on the radio. What I thought I heard, because there's a lot of static on the line when I'm in the convention center, was Kage's grandfather just passed away. So I was like, what? And I was like, okay, are we losing our chairman? What's going on? So I had to make phone calls, and it ended up being another panelist whose grandfather just passed away, and they were trying to find someone to replace him doing the panel. Can you imagine what kind of expression was on my face when I thought, the chairman's going to step out, who's going to have to fill his shoes for him? That's a scary story. So if you hear anybody, because it was on the radio and it was like staticky, if anybody says, Kage, are you okay? Is your family okay? It's because somehow the person's name sounds like Kage over the radio, but it was not.
I can set your mind at ease, KP. My parents, who are persons of certain age, and I have already had a discussion. And I have told them, Mom and Dad, I do love you very much. If anything should happen, if you should, God forbid, die during Anthrocon, I have it on good authority that you will still be dead the following week. So please forgive me if I do not take immediate measures to address the situation.
That makes me feel a lot better.
We'll just prop my mom up in the bar and no one will know the difference. Erase that from the tape.
I also just got something really cool from the dealer's room. Everybody seen the cool Lexan plastic tags that have been showing up everywhere?
Yeah.
I think I just got the coolest one ever.
Whoa.
These are being done by Griffin Park Studios, John Nunemaker. He actually has to have these made in advance. He's not doing them on site, so we probably still take orders for them. But is that not one of the coolest things you've ever seen?
Yeah.
But he draws the art custom, and every single number is unique, and now there's someone buzzing my ear.
These are just fine as ours has a secret message on it. I don't know what it is because Trigger won't tell me. If you can figure it out, please tell me. It's the dots at the bottom. There's some kind of message in there. I just need to get it.
Upstairs, downstairs.
I think that says all your base are belong to us.
Let's take one more question because we do need to clear this room out for the next panel, which is, what's the next panel in this room, KB? You made the schedule.
I'm sorry, we had to microphone.
Sorry, what's the next panel in this room?
The next panel in this room at 3:30 will be the fursuiter meet and greet.
Yes. What about the mentoring thing? When's
The
that?
mentoring thing actually already happened.
Already happened. We'll have to do it again. Some people missed it.
Some people missed it.
Yeah.
We can probably set up a second session of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at the schedule.
Let's take one more question. Presenting Furry Fandom to the public, answering the question, what is all this? Any last questions? Yes?
Any thoughts on one day being able to say, actually expect that the population knows the term furry and
Yes.
thinks of it in a positive sense?
Furry Fandom is where Star Trek fans were about 25 years ago. Yeah, most of you weren't around. There was a time when the Star Trek fan was like the ultimate geek, the bottom of the geek hierarchy. People, the average person on the street thought Star Trek was the weirdest ass thing in the world. Today, 25 years later, Star Trek is a part of American culture. It is a respected part of American culture. And even the guy who tries to wear his Klingon officer's uniform to jury duty is kind of seen as sort of cute. So I like to believe that the time will come, as people become more and more accustomed to furries, that we will become just as much a part of American culture too. Remember, Furry Fandom is still a young fandom. We've only been around now for just about 20 years. So give us time. We occasionally have some problems. We had CSI and everything. I attribute all of that to growing pains. Final questions, comments?
About the CSI thing, every time I get together with some of my relatives, like, one of my relatives, sitting around a table with a bunch of family members, Uncle Aunts and folks I haven't seen a lot, we're at a fancy restaurant, and they're like, he's got an interesting hobby. He dresses up, goes to conventions where he dresses up in animal costumes. And my cousins, like, my dad's cousins, she's like, his wife, was like, oh my God, there was a CSI episode about that. I don't know how many people said exactly word. Oh my God, there's a CSI episode about that. I've heard that probably 20 times.
These are family members?
Family members, coworkers, my boss.
Okay, if it's family members, coworkers, people you're on a really good relationship, friendly basis with, the proper answer is, yeah, I get a hell of a lot more sex than you and you're just jealous. Thank you all very much.